Hi guys, Musk here, and I'm back playing some League of Legends, and I think I've discovered a way to abuse Riot's dog shit matchmaking system for your own personal advantage, and I'm here to share that with you. But first, let's introduce the protagonists of this game. So this is Bronze 1 in Flex Queue. I'd like to go into Flex Queue just to play some warm-ups, and yeah, so... It's obviously Flex Queue is a joke, so bear that in mind. These ranks I've got posted over the profile pictures are from op.gg, and they are the solo queue ranks for each of the players. You can see I'm the Silver 2 Kindred, and you know, our team is much more consistently sort of like silver leveled than the enemy team, who have a bit of a mix of like gold to iron. I don't really want to speculate too much about Riot's MMR balancing in this lobby because it's flex queue, but you know, it could be that the gold player's MMR is really high, or my MMR has dropped or decayed because I haven't played in more than a month. Who knows? But I would like to bring your attention to the number of games played by basically the players in this lobby. We've got myself, I've played about 36 games to Silver 2, and I had my own particular way of doing that I will get on to discussing. And then, you know, others in the lobby have played 200 games, 600 games, nearly 1,000 games in the case of the Twisted Fate this season. You know, that's an incredible number of games. And it is worth noting that this player is an Akali main with nearly 500 games on Akali. Yeah, so they clearly weren't bringing out their big guns for this game. But the point is, in order to, you know, for an average non-Smurf silver player to hit the rank that you know they're probably approximately at, it can take quite a lot of games, in my experience. You know, from my friends or kind of people I've played against and kind of looked at their accounts, how many they've played. 100 games isn't unrealistic. I imagine for a non-Smurf gold player to reach gold, it takes quite a few more games. The number of games played by accounts in this lobby are excessive, but I do think it exemplifies how many games you might, you often have to play to get out of bronze and silver in League of Legends. As a normal run-of-the-mill player anyway. So let's get into the game, and let me tell you about my theory for how Riot's matchmaking system works and how to abuse it. And the soundbite summary of my strategy is this: play some games until you lose, then stop playing for a week or a month, and then play some more games until you lose again, and repeat that. So now let me unpack the reasoning behind that strategy. So the first thing to understand as we discuss this, and the cornerstone underlying my theory, is the concept of engagement optimized matchmaking. And I'm going to read you an abstract from a paper by Zhenjing Chen et al. Published in 2017 called EOMM, an engagement optimized matchmaking framework. The abstract reads: matchmaking connects multiple players to participate in online player versus player games. Current matchmaking systems depend on a single core strategy: create fair games at all times. These systems pair similarly skilled players on the assumption that a fair game is best player experience. We will demonstrate, however, that this intuitive assumption sometimes fails, and that matchmaking based on fairness is not optimal for engagement. In this paper, we propose an engagement optimized matchmaking (EOMM) framework that maximizes overall player engagement. We prove that equal skill based matchmaking is a special case of EOMM on a highly simplified assumption that rarely holds in reality. Our simulation on real data from a popular game made by Electronic Arts supports our theoretical results, showing significant improvement in enhancing player engagement compared to existing matchmaking methods. It's worth noting that League of Legends is mentioned in this paper, indicating that the authors felt that this was a game that would be applicable for their system. And to briefly summarise their model, they looked at churn risk. Churn risk is the risk at which a player will stop playing the game. So the higher the churn risk, the more likely the player is to stop playing, and that's not what you want. You want maximum engagement. You want playing as long as possible. And so they created a framework where they looked at draws, wins and losses over, you know, a set of games, and they found that if you were to lose 3 games in a row, for example, your churn risk is the highest it's going to be. Like, people are most likely to quit the game after they lose 3 in a row. And but they're not most likely to keep playing, or like the churn risk is not the lowest when they win 3 games in a row. That is actually lowest when they lose 2 and win 1. Now this is a bit convenient because it tracks my own League of Legends experience, you know, quite well. In that I feel, you know, you know, I have to go through 3 or 4 games where my team is just completely diffed before I get one game where my team completely diffs the enemy. Now I don't think it's as simple as the game algorithm assigning like 3 game, you know, preordained win and loss blocks to accounts. The maths just doesn't add up. And I'll put my reasoning for that in the comments because I can't be bothered to talk about it here. But if you think that Riot Games, billion-dollar company of the kind of largest MOBA game in the world, doesn't use a framework like this, I'm here to tell you that you are high. Now I'm going to take a step further into something that is not quite as certain, but I still nevertheless think occurs. And that is that Riot's matchmaking algorithm applies this framework to individual accounts. Now, we know that individual accounts have an MMR, you know, a unique MMR number, by which the algorithm is supposed to create matchmaking games. And I think the system also has a churn risk number for each account. And I want to use the analogy of the Facebook news algorithm to try to explain this a little bit. So, famously, over the last few years, you know, emerged that Facebook had this algorithm by which they would present their users with kind of personalized news. It looked at what the user was engaged with and spent time reading, and it fed them more of that sort of thing. And what happened was we got into like a rage news cycle, or, you know, kind of like people kept getting things that enraged or inflamed, you know, their emotions. The computer wants to make the monkey happy, so it gives the monkey things that the monkey pays attention to and spends time and energy on. But unfortunately, it turns out that what the monkey obsesses over and spends time and energy engaging with isn't necessarily what makes the monkey happy. Poor computers, eh? It turns out that monkeys are happier when you don't give them what they want. But to bring this back to my theory and the example game I'm playing here, I haven't played in more than a month. I stopped playing after I got a kind of, you know, a really unpleasant loss streak in which, you know, I played as well as I could. I'm not a great player. I can't 1v9 carry when my team are all very bad players against players that are better than them. I don't really enjoy one-sided stomp games, regardless of which team I'm on. The best games are games that are close, you know, and you know, you would think those are kind of ones that are sort of balanced, but close games are the most fun games. Now tell me if this sounds familiar to you. So in these this kind of like game series, I was playing and I was losing. I thought I was playing, you know, I was playing well for my ability, but I was still losing. And so, you know, a bit frustrated, I was just chasing that win. So you play a game, you lose, 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 win. And then, you know, the cycle repeats. What does that look like to the computer? It's like, okay, you know, I put him in this you know, hard game. Oh, but he's playing again. Okay, right, so I put him in this harder game. Oh, he's playing again. I wonder if I'm training the computer to put me with dog shit teammates. I don't know how it balances, you know, I'm sure the MMR is balanced. But it's like, my MMR is really high, my team's MMR is really low, and, you know, the average of the enemy, you know, kind of balances really nicely, but it's just, I'm not good enough to kind of overcome that difference. And case in point right there, wow, I played that badly. So yeah, I haven't played in a month and this is my first game back, and I think the computer recognises this. I think it recognises that I haven't played in a while, and maybe it recognises that I quit after experiencing its fucking dog shit and had enough of it. But whatever the case, whenever I've done this, whenever I've taken a break from the game and come back, the first few games I get when I come back in are just so much easier. They feel like a completely different game. And you think they'd be worse. You know, I expect them to be worse in that I expect to be rusty, not play as well, but it's extremely reliable. The first few games I play after coming back from a break are easy and I usually win. I don't know if that's Riot's system assigning me a high churn risk, or a decay in my MMR over that time. But it clearly makes sense. So if you've got an account that's returning after not playing for a while, if you give them some nice easy games, then maybe they'll stick around and keep playing. And this game is absolutely no exception. I've got all winning lanes apart from top lane, and even the Teemo's like technically behind on the scoreboard. He's not bleeding pressure. He's just holding, and it's more or less even up there. Like, my pathing has been all over the place. My mechanics and fighting is I'm basically just standing still and hitting people, and using my level lead and items to win. I'm not playing well. But it's working very well because my enemy juggler is, respectfully a vegetable, and my laners aren't just like bent over with their puckered asses, like twerking at their lane opponents under their towers the entire game. So let's put all those things I've talked about together and build the picture. So we've got a system that recognizes your risk of leaving and your risk of disengaging with it, and it wants to prevent that at all costs.
Go, Wolf.
So if you leave and stop playing for a period, let's say a week, and then come back, you will be gifted with kind of easier, kind of introductory games. And I think it's a system you can also train. A lot goes into lost streaks in terms of player psychology and kind of physical tiredness. I believe that, but I also think we can train it to kind of keep giving us a certain type of game by repeated playing. Chasing a win. Playing games until we win trains the computer to give us more and more losses to keep us playing longer until we get that win. So therefore it seems logical to invert that and play till you lose. Now I quite like to listen to the Broken by Concept podcast by Coach Curtis and Nathan Mott. It's a really wholesome and thought-provoking podcast by two people that clearly know a lot about the game, and I really recommend you go listen to it if you don't already. And I'm aware that in making this video I'm promoting what I'm sure they would call a toxic narrative, and frankly it is, unless it's true. But anyway, they are advocates of a gaming process whereby you play in 3 game blocks. And there are many good reasons for this, like, by playing in 3 games blocks, you're playing at your best, you're limiting your fatigue, you're making sure you can't go on lost streaks and lose lots of LP, etc. And all of those make perfect sense, but it's also consistent with the idea that you can train the algorithm. If you're playing in 3 game blocks, regardless of win or lose, then the computer's churn risk assessment of you isn't going to be dictated by your wins and losses. It doesn't look at it and say, well, she plays until she wins, so put her in games that are, she's slightly less favoured to win, and she'll play more games. It has to go based on, well, this player plays in 3 game blocks. Maybe it applies that loss-loss-win pattern to start with, but eventually, over time, if you just stick to 3 game blocks, it's not going to have any of that sort of. It doesn't have that pattern to build off of. So maybe you get into more balanced games, and therefore maybe you get to improve and climb a little bit faster. Just food for thought, anyway. One final piece of, anecdotal evidence to support the idea that playing short blocks or small blocks and then taking breaks between them is maybe a good idea. Is kind of the way I've managed to climb up to Silver 2 across several seasons on a couple of accounts. I've done this the same way each time, and it's basically I ride the really high MMR you get from when you start your placements, and I play a couple of games and then leave it for a week, play another couple of games, leave it for a week, and I don't get the lost streaks, I don't get the the really awful games you get towards the end, like towards the top of the rank, where you win games up to the rank, nearly at the promos, and you drop all the way down because you go into a massive lost streak, so that you can then climb all the way back up again, and then drop all the way down, and then go up again and drop all the way, that pattern of playing lots and lots of games to try to eventually get to the rank that your level of play probably averages around. So each season I basically play about 30 games, get to Silver 2 because I skipped like Bronze 3 and silver 3.
Chase to your heart's content.
And yeah, then stop, because my friend who has done, does exactly the same pattern, but then keeps playing, gets punished all the way back down to bronze, over the next 100 games or so. Because you start to get into games where you need to be able to play at like high gold, platinum or above kind of level in order to win them. And if you don't, then you drop all the way back down. And I can't play that level.
Now.
At my best, I flatten myself. I could probably play at a low gold level. At my worst, I probably play at a mid bronze level. And so, the average of mid silver is probably about realistic for me. So in summary, you want easy games. You want Riot's system to favour you. Play until you lose, then give it a break for a week and repeat that pattern. Give it a go. Let me know if it works for you. Let me know if I'm delusional. It's all a bit of fun, and trying to make the being the masochist in Riot's sadist system more bearable. And I guess from here on out, I'll just narrate the game. So it's been obviously it's been a good Kindred game for me. I mean, not that I'm playing well, just that it's gone well. And yeah, so I'm building my kind of comfort build, Kraken into Bork and Wit's End. I like Bork because it gives me attack speed and damage and haste, and a slow on the enemy is like there's nothing not to love about it. Wit's End is really important, I think, this game, given their amount of magic damage from Zyra and Twisted Fate and Diana. Twisted Fate it's been clear from early on that he's their best player. The others I'm not really concerned about. And yeah, it's like my bot lane are winning. They're not really taking the tower, but they're creating pressure in the bot side, allowing me space to breathe in the river, and you're just keeping their bot side suppressed. Azir has been holding the Twisted Fate. Oh yeah, so what I'm doing here is I see Diana moving there, so I went into that bush to ambush her. I did not know Twisted Fate was in it, and I don't know why the gold card only stunned me for such a short amount of time. Maybe it's my level, or like some element of tenacity. I don't think I've taken the tenacity rune, but yeah, I'm surprised it didn't stun me for that long. But grateful, and as you can see, I'm just walking around the river on vision because I have forgotten to buy a scanner. First game back in a while, a bit rusty on that sort of thing. I'm just pressuring the Diana off because she wants to try to gank my bot lane, and got dragon up, so just pressuring her off, creating space for us to try to take this dragon. And I know she's doing the blue, so I go up and smite steal it. Thank you very much. And yeah, I guess, so I think Wit's End pretty valuable. I was debating over going more of my Mortius to just to double down on that magic resist, but I think in the end I decided I wanted Lord Dominic's for getting through Darius, and it melts squishies in the same way, so it's always a good thing to grab. So there I was trying to, I'd hoped to get more damage on Zyra, and I jumped in. I had my finger on the flash ready to kind of get myself out of the situation. Yeah, didn't quite manage to put as much damage on her as I hoped. But secure the dragon. Twisted Fate has made the call to go and do the cross map objective, which is sensible. But he's now decided to wander into Kindred's jungle. He's at like half health. It's a bit risky, given where else am I going to be? I've just taken bot side. I've been around bot side for a while. Just taken dragon. Where am I going to go? I guess he thought I would go back to base after dragon. Fail a wall hop there. I failed that wall hop a lot actually. I need to practice that. And yeah, so I think Diana has gone up to, has gone to my my mark on her Krugs. So I was going to back, just thinking, well, I don't really want to force anything up here and get collapsed on by Diana and Darius, for no reason, because I'm sure the Krugs are gone. But I'm strong. I'll try anyway. And yeah, she didn't. So I get another mark. Teemo has been bullying Darius a bit, so he's low on health, and so I'm just waiting here. See, I can't see Darius at the moment. He's like just in a little bit of fog of war, so I wait. So I'm pretty sure he's backing, and then yeah, abuse the fact he's probably shopping. Stay in the circles to keep Wolf biting him, and yeah, it's just he can't really get away from that. Wolf finishes him off. That's quite satisfying. It's the death Darius deserves. I shouldn't back there. If I'm going to back, I should back in that bush so that I can see anyone coming up at me. Those little mistakes cost lives, Kindred. So now Twisted Fate has used his teleport to go a short distance to mid to drop the Herald. I don't know if it was about to expire. You know, but that's, you know, they've dropped the Herald, so I'm going mid to defend. My team are a bit split at the moment. Oh yeah, Azir. I don't know, like Azir refused to hit the Eye of the Herald, and instead got himself killed. I think, yeah, Diana is now on the scoreboard. Good job. I think Azir tried to bite off a little bit too much. So now I guess like I could be moving up to try to support Teemo, but I've chosen to go down to my camps instead. I think I'm looking at sort of, you know, I like to keep clearing. I think I'm looking at bot lane, and would quite like to dive and try to get that tower down. But I'm going back to doing my clearing my jungle first, which is a bad habit I tend to have. You know, so we've lost Teemo up top now, so they get to push back in. And let's see, do I do anything useful whilst I'm here? I'm just covering them for because I'm pretty sure Diana will come. There she is. And now I'm going to try to sandwich her with Azir.
Go, Wolf.
Don't play this particularly well. Should have moved up to the wall and then queued over it, but red buff gets her.
Always, dear Wolf.
And yeah, then we see Tristana's quite low. And she steps up just a bit too close to the bush. We nab her too. And then whilst we're waiting for the wave to come for the tower, I take the Gromp. Nice Grumpy snack. I like to take plants just to take them away from the enemy. I wasn't intending to use that to escape. So now my Azir is pushing up, so I give him a bit of jungle vision to keep him safe. Take away another plant. Let's go investigate the wolves. Oh no, the blue has spawned. Let's go to that. I didn't know if Azir wanted it, so I sort of started dragging it towards him. But when Twisted Fate used his ult and like got vision of us, I just took it to secure it. So what's happening now? So yeah, so moving into Diana's top side. So I see my team are sort of starting to gather up there to make a play on Darius. And what? Yeah, so Darius got killed, so I just go and see if she's on her crocs. Oh, that's where she is.
Chase to your heart's content.
I use my flash like
now.
Candy this game. I never use it defensively, which I guess works out okay in this game. So what we're doing now, so dragon's up, so let's go back, reset, and start to play around that.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's turret has
Starting
been
to build my wits. Yeah, so just looking at mid lane, I've just seen Twisted Fate pushing the wave, so let's go push that back out before the objective. Now teams are starting to gather for the fight. So yes, my team control the river, so I shouldn't have been behind that rock. I should have been up there with them a little bit, supporting them a little bit more, in case the fight started. So, yeah. We burn it down pretty quick. Moving to the jungle to keep pressuring. Take objectives, sorry Azir, and then I cut this way. Let's try to get some pressure on this tower again. And again, move into the jungle to try to prevent or like try to cut off people moving towards Azir.
Just
So, enemy is starting to gather on the top side. So I could have moved over to that, but instead I decided to try to keep pushing this with Azir. I think that's probably the wrong move, as this is my big problem. Like I've gotten really fed, I'm really strong, and I just don't put the game away. And I think it's things like this where I'll kind of like go back to farming camps, or you know, there it was more valuable for me to be on the top side to, you know, help my team win that confrontation. I didn't really do much more damage to the tower than Azir would have done on his own. And yeah, so like the fight is still going on up there. I've gone back to taking my camps. I need to be using my lead. This is a big problem I have for finishing games. It's like, it's fine when your team are ahead of the enemy team or are better players than the enemy team, but most games they're not. And this sort of way of playing, you know, doesn't help that. So I know Diana's around, I know Tristana's around as well, but I figure I can take out Zyra pretty quick, and my bot lane were there to support me as well. Didn't play it particularly well, didn't dodge a route. I should have saved the Q to like dodge laterally away from the route. Yeah. I knew I was strong enough just to face tank it. So I took the wave there because Misfortune ran around the wrong way and would have taken ages to get to it. So I thought I might as well just take it. And off we go again. So I can see my team kind of split off to the side lanes again. Mid, the enemy's pushing down mid, so I'm kind of running mid to defend it, asking for help. And what I really want to be kind of looking to do is we get a kill and then Baron and try to end it. Darius is stepping a bit forward, so I've got my eye on Twisted Fate and his gold cards. So I was just following Darius without committing, not getting quite within Twisted Fate's range. And yeah, the wave's pushing up, so I follow the wave, not in front of the wave. And Darius is not respecting the fact he has no wave, and he's going to get shot down like a dog. Don't know why my bot lane just decided to leave. Could have taken that tower, but I recognise the enemy is coming in force. Back off. No, you know, there's no point in taking that tower if I die. Twisted Fate's used his ult, so he can see me. So I run back to Azir. So safety in numbers. And just wait for the team to get onto the map. Do a bit more farming. Azir can have my blue. And I don't see Misfortune's fight here with Twisted Fate until it's too late. Right, he was in a bush, I guess, so it happened pretty quick. But I do see that he's low on health, so I am happy that I'm using my camera to pan to lanes and fights.
Go, wolf!
Little bit. We often do. Get 2 flashes for my flash. That's not too bad. A bit disappointed I didn't get Twisted Fate, but not terrible. Just place myself on these lovely waves. And so yeah, so dragon's up. It would be nice to take this, but the team is not in position. I don't really want to start it. I move up just to try to get vision of where, are the enemy coming in. Darius is there, so even though he's behind, I'm ahead, and I don't really respect the player. I don't want to tackle Darius, so just give the dragon. I'm happy with that decision. I did wonder about kind of getting around to jump into the pit, use my ult, and then like smite steal. But me dying would not have been worth it. The dragons, we're on 2 dragons apiece. It's just not worth a try. Wait, did Azir get that?
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Yeah. Anyway, me jumping in for the dragon was not worth it, and our team get the inhibitor, but die for it.
Just wait.
That's an interesting ult, Misfortune. At least she gets away. I'm moving up to support her. So yeah, so like it's starting to do that familiar pattern where like we've got a convincing lead, but now people are just starting to throw it away by everyone like they're trying to play like 3 lanes at once and not just having like 4 people in 1 lane and 1 person splitting, or just like 5 bombing down mid in the traditional manner. Because again, I'm just waiting for the team to be in a position to do something. ADC's
I'm sorry.
pushing alone, upper side lane. So yeah, so I should be playing Baron side, I guess, really. But I can see Diana on her own. I've got Azir with me, so let's see if we can pick her off, and that'll be a nice opportunity to Baron then. Don't play this particularly well, it's quite a big wave to be fighting her in, but I'm 2 level ahead. Not scared of her, but it wasn't the best ambush that's ever been carried out, and thankfully Azir had my back. So now we can see the enemy pushing down mid, and Teemo's holding them. So we're just going to take, the towers and the inhibitor, because they give it to us for free. Bit of a greedy back there by me, but I get away with it. So now I really want to Baron. This is Baron time, right? We've just knocked down a bot side inhibitor. We're all up and ready for it. Yeah, we killed their jungler. She's back up now, but she was dead. Oh, Darius has been caught out. Perfect. Let's go for it. Spam ping the Baron. Hopefully the team listens. Very, very slowly they listen. I just start it anyway, because I'm pretty happy I can probably solo this thing by now. Always worried that the enemy jungler is alive when doing this, but
Now.
we have a good position. And now to go and get that mid wave. Oh no, I see. So I go into the mid wave. I see. I don't know. Just effect must be like typing or something. Completely artlessly, just stand still and shoot. I mean, to be fair, I was stunned by the gold card, which is just point and click. And I did have my ult. Should that have gotten any closer? Yeah, it was a bit closer than I thought.
Chase to your heart's content.
And it's really just my levels and my items that carried me through it. And yes, I'd just done my camps, finished my item. Well, I've gone and got my BF sword. really, this could have been a game end. Like I could have just gone to these guys and more like basically comfortably won the game. As it is, we risked the throw. And I thought Darius was going to clean house, but fortunately, Misfortune comes and nips that in the bud. And yeah, good ult by Azir into Misfortune ult there. Very nice, and that just secures the game. I think I flash and use all my abilities to try to get onto the end screen. Couldn't quite get there. Yeah, that's the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you thought it, found it interesting, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.